Conservation Commission, it's actually the Inland Wetlands Commission under the Conservation Commission meeting of the Inland Wetlands. Oh my gosh, forget it. It's the Inland Wetlands Commission. Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021, 7 p.m. We have with us myself, Jen Hahuth as the chair, Luke Thomas, vice chair, Charlie Rowan, Nelson North, Dabney Bowen, Jerry Alessi, and Brian McCann. And want to welcome Brian back to the commission. Thanks, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Thank you.
We also have with us a couple of guests, and one is Matt Sanford from SLR. Hi, Matt. Welcome. And
hey, Matt.
Town Council Tim Herbst is on the line as well.
Hi, Tim.
How's it going, Tim?
Okay. So, Matt, do you just want to introduce your company to us, just so we know who you are?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me this evening. We are assisting, as many of you probably already know, we're assisting the town with this transition with the Conservation Department. My name is in full is Matt Sanford. I'm with SLR. Our primary offices are located in Cheshire and New Haven, Connecticut. I myself am a professional wetland scientist, a registered soil scientist, and I've been with the company for 21 years. I think the other thing that's important that I've been in your shoes. I've served as vice chairman of my local wetlands commission in the past. So I bring that experience to this commission, having been on both sides, as obviously representing applicants before the various municipalities in Connecticut. I'm also joined, and this evening she couldn't be here, by Megan Raymond. She also brings 20 years experience, and she's also a professional wetland scientist, registered soil scientist, and actually certified floodplain manager. And she will be assisting us as well with the transition. Obviously, this evening I'm here to observe how the commission interacts with the applicants and just their procedures at this particular meeting. And we're hopeful to help provide some guidance in the future, whether it's streamlining certain aspects of the permitting process, and also provide education to you as the commission as well as town staff. So we thank you for having us and inviting us in, and we're ready to get going. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, on to Roman numeral 3, bills and communications. Approval of meeting minutes of February 3rd, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
I'll abstain.
Roman numeral 3B, approval of recording secretary's bill of February 3rd, 2021. Do I have a motion? Second? Everyone in favor?
Second. Aye.
Aye.
No opposed. Okay. Roman numeral 3C. Our good friend Rich D'Amico resigned. We'll miss him. And Brian McCann has been appointed full member. So thanks again, Brian, for being on the commission.
Thank you.
Okay. Roman numeral 4. Inland Wetlands legal enforcement action continued from October 7th, November 4th, December 2nd, 2020, January 6th, 2021, and February 3rd, 2021. Show cause violation hearing, cease and desist correct order, 1081 Reading Road, Abby M. Taylor, trustee, assessors map 221, parcel 29, channelization of stream course and filling of wetland soil and filling within a floodplain. Do we have an update, Sarah or Matt, on that? Whoever wants to talk on that.
We are still waiting on an updated plan from Bill Kenny. I know the weather kind of threw a wrench in things with all the snow we had. Attorney Fallon, do you have anything to add to that?
No, good evening, everyone. No, I know Bill is working on the plan. We intend to get it to Sarah certainly within the next week, and then hopefully it can be disposed of at your April meeting. But we did have numerous meetings with staff, both on site and in the office, so we know what is the parameters of remediation, and we're going to present a plan that I think satisfies the staff requests.
Okay, so what do we need, a motion to table this for tonight?
Yeah, I think if we just continue until next month, that would be
Okay.
fine.
A motion to continue.
Okay.
Second, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, Roman numeral 5A, old business. IWPA 2020-21-07, Fallon Esquire, 22 Brett Road, Assessors Map 168, Parcel 40. Construct new dwelling and subsurface sewage disposal system within a regulated area. Staff recommends approval with conditions. Attorney Fallon is just listening on this. We're just gonna do a vote. Sarah, is there anything?
Yeah, I know Annette had written up the staff recommendation just with standard conditions. The applicant has agreed to all of the conditions. I can pull it out, but it was, I know they offered the conservation easement, and it was, they had agreed to everything.
There is a change though on specific condition number 2, I believe, to eliminate the word tall and read in pertinent part, except that it shall allow for mowing to a meadow condition up to twice a year.
Ah. Okay.
That was the one
Yeah,
change.
so that was, Annette had agreed with that, and that we can change that in the staff recommendation for the final approval.
Yes. Does anyone have any questions? Okay.
Who was the decision on the fencing? The split rail? The easement?
What's that?
Holly, can you speak up?
Sorry. No. What was the final decision or the final agreement on the fencing for the split rail for the easement? Because I know at times in the past there has been a without fencing, it tends to get overlooked.
We agreed to that.
That's a
I believe it was
condition.
split rail.
Oh,
Let
okay.
me-
All right.
It's not in the map now, but they agreed to it.
Yeah.
On the western
Correct.
boundary of the conservation easement, I believe.
Yeah, that's what part of the revised plans. If you look at condition 1J, it says show a split rail fence or equal on the westerly side of the conservation easement.
Okay. That's the piece I was missing. Thank you.
Anyone else with questions? All right, well, if we're ready, I need a motion to approve this application. And with the change to specific condition number 2, to delete the word tall. Anyone?
I'll make a motion to approve with conditions.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Roman numeral 5, A2, IWPA 2020-21-09, Rush 399 Riverside Drive, Assessors Map 130, Parcel 39, demolish existing dwelling and construct new dwelling within a regulated area. Sorry. Is there anything we need to talk about, Sarah, on this one as well? I know there's,
This one was pretty straightforward. They were going to demolish the existing house, build a new house. I think it's essentially a little bigger footprint, but about in the same spot. There's just some standard conditions for site monitoring. We had asked for a revised plan, some test pit data, but nothing. There was no easements needed to be offered on this one. The applicant agreed to all of the conditions.
does anyone have any questions?
That we've requested?
This was all in terms of like a revised plan, or
Yes.
so that comes after. That's part of when you approve it. It's approved with the condition to give us the revised plan. So we haven't
Right,
received
okay,
it yet
okay.
because they haven't.
Got it.
It
Okay.
hasn't been asked of them.
I see.
I have a question. Is the approval based on the revised plan or the approval based on receiving the revised plan?
Receiving the revised
So-
plan is a condition.
Yes,
Okay.
of the approval.
Okay.
So.
Anyone else? Okay, can I have a motion to approve IWPA 2020-21-09?
Approve, motion to approve.
Second from Luke. Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we have a supplemental agenda. I think if it's okay with everyone, I'll move into that right now before we move on. Did everyone receive it? You've got it?
Yes.
Okay. This is the supplemental inland wetlands meeting agenda for the Inland Wetlands Commission. This is Roman numeral 2, new application, IWPA 2020-21-10, Town of Fairfield bridge replacement within town right-of-way in the general vicinity of 65 Commerce Drive at municipal boundary of the city of Bridgeport. Replacement of Commerce Drive Bridge over Rooster River, AKA Ash Creek, within a regulated area. As per 96-157, the agency shall not hold a public hearing unless the proposal may have a significant impact on wetlands or watercourse, or a proper petition is received, or a public hearing is in the public interest. The staff has determined this is significant, and what we're doing tonight is acting on a staff recommendation to schedule the required public hearing for either April 7th, 2021 or May 5th, 2021.
Does it make a difference which date? From staff standpoint?
So Matt, I had sent you the stuff on this. I think you'll be reviewing it
Yeah, I
more
don't-
than I will. So I don't know in terms of what you need to, what is better for you.
I think either one. It's really up to the commission as to when they're available to want to hold the public hearing. We'll be ready for either date.
So I guess it just depends on whether you have any idea of either date having a lot on the agenda and whether it matters at this point.
Right now, this would be the only thing on the agenda. So I think it would be fine. And I'm sure, usually they want to get this done with sooner rather than later. So
Yes.
April would likely be fine.
Okay,
So I would propose that we schedule it for the April 7th, 2021 meeting.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion on that, or can we just have a sense of the commission?
Do unanimous consent if you want.
yeah,
Unanimous consent? Anyone opposed?
I
Okay.
just have a question. So this is the bridge replacement over by BJ's where they're looking to put the pedestrian bridge as well? So it's both bridges, a new.
No, it's not. It's not the Ash Creek for the pedestrian bridge. It's
Right.
it's kind of the Fairfield Bridgeport line. If you go past the post office on Commerce Drive,
Yes.
like right where Ash Creek is, there kind of. I think there used to be like the Connecticut limo
Yeah.
there,
Okay. All right.
but it's
all right, I
not the
was thinking-
one where the
Right,
it's
by
not the same
BJ's and
place
you'll
as the
move it there.
pedestrian
Okay.
bridge that
It's-
had been talked
Okay,
about.
all right.
Sarah, isn't it the
Okay,
bridge
okay.
that's right near the off-ramp from 95 on
Yeah.
Commerce Drive?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
right by 95.
Okay. All right. I had that wrong in my head then. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I think we had unanimous consent on April 7th for that public hearing.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to move out of the supplemental agenda and back into the main agenda for Roman numeral 5B, new business. 5B1, fiscal year 2021-2022 proposed budget status. I have nothing on the budget, but if anyone does. I know it was presented.
We need a van.
There we go. Sorry. So I know the budget was being presented to the Board of Selectmen this week, and they will vote on it next week, and that's where we are.
Okay. Okay.
Sarah, I haven't had a chance to look at it in detail. Are there any significant changes to the Conservation Commission budget? To the Conservation Department budget?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Other than the
Attorney Herbst, if you
staffing.
want to address this?
Would you like me to comment on that, Sarah?
Sure, thank you.
Yes, if you can,
Thank
please.
you, Chairman. First, before I introduce myself, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tim Herbst. I am one of the attorneys for the town. I am assigned to all of the land use departments of the town, planning and zoning, ZBA, conservation. We're working with the assessor's office as well. Just by way of background, perhaps ironically, when I was in law school, I went to Pace Law School, was on the environmental law review. My comment article was on Connecticut General Statutes 22A19, which involves intervenor application status. So it's something that I have acute familiarity with. I served for 11 years on the Trumbull Planning and Zoning Commission, 4 as the chairman, before I was elected the first selectman of the town of Trumbull, where I served for 8 years. Dealt with a myriad of land use issues, including open space preservation, wetlands compliance. I come to this meeting tonight with experience not only in this regard of representing towns and cities, but also developers as well in other municipalities. I've had the occasion to work with Matt Sanford, who's here tonight on behalf of SLR, formerly Maloney McBroom, probably one of the most highly regarded engineering and wetlands environmental firms in the state of Connecticut, to give you all an update on the budget just at 1,000 feet, give you a brief summation of what is happening. The budget in total that is being presented on behalf of the town considers certain reorganizations and consolidations of various town departments, including the Conservation Department. What I have been told and what I have been advised and seen is that prior to First Selectwoman Kupchak submitting fiscal year budget for 2021 and 2022, previously you had a director of conservation and a conservation administrator. You had 2 functions. Before First Selectwoman Kupchak's election, the conservation director was serving as the interim director of public works. Upon First Selectwoman Kupchak's election, she and her administration conducted an assessment of how that work was being distributed when Mr. Carey was with the town of Fairfield. The assessment was that approximately 70 to 75% of his duties and functions were being dedicated to public works, and the remainder of conservation staff needs were met by as conservation administrator. First Selectwoman Kupchak elected to fill the position of Director of Public Works upon Mr. Carey leaving the town of Fairfield. John Marsilio has been hired as the Fairfield Director of Public Works. And because that Public Works Department position has been filled, a determination was made based upon the assessment that was made about distribution of work within the two positions in conservation, where you had your director serving a 75% function in DPW, with the remainder of Ms. Jacobson's duties being dedicated solely to conservation. There was a determination that a consolidation was in order to properly meet the needs of the department and to achieve the maximum efficiencies without compromising services that are going to be provided by the department. When the budget was presented, for Selectwoman Kupchak's administration put in place a transition and continuity plan that included, among other things, having SLR step in to provide short-term and long-term assistance to the commission up until a new conservation director is hired. Among the short-term responsibilities of SLR will be to obviously work with Sarah to process applications within the department. We met earlier this morning, myself and Matt and Megan and John Milone of SLR. We met with Sarah and the other staff in the conservation department to assess immediate priorities with the processing of applications. I can tell you Sarah is doing an outstanding job in terms of prioritizing. Obviously, priority one matters, those applications that need to be processed. And I can tell you that short term, we are going to make sure that the department not only has the same level of service you had when Ms. Jacobson was with the town of Fairfield, but we are committed to exceeding those staffing levels to make sure that these applications are processed, that there is no backlog with how these permits are received and processed by the town and ultimately adjudicated by your commission. And also, what SLR is going to do is really, and they come with a unique perspective because they've done this on both sides of the table. They have represented municipalities. They have performed peer reviews on behalf of conservation and wetlands agencies throughout the state of Connecticut, but they've also represented those on the other side of the table, developers and applicants. So they bring a unique perspective in that they've seen the entire spectrum. So on a long-term basis, as part of this continuity and reorganization plan, they will make certain recommendations to Sarah, to staff, to the commission, to the First Selectwoman's office about certain processes or protocols that can be implemented to improve and perhaps streamline operations on behalf of the department. I know that there has been questions because I've received communications today regarding the Aquarion intervenor application on the water diversion to Greenwich. I can tell everybody on the commission and to the public that is watching that my office has filed an appearance. Myself and my colleague Owen Weaver have filed appearances on behalf of the Fairfield Conservation Commission with the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. We assisted Ms. Jacobson in the drafting of the intervenor application to DEEP, and we are prepared to represent the commission's interests before the DEP in seeking intervenor status. I know that's a lot under budget, but I figured budget kind of segued into all these other issues, and I just figured it was as good a time as any to allow me to explain the consolidation and reorganization and also what efforts are being undertaken to ensure a seamless transition for the new director.
Question. So what is the budget? Is it going up or down? And secondly, I know at one point we had spoken about changing a part-time position to full-time. Is that in the budget?
Sarah, do you have the budget open?
I do. I don't have a copy of it. No, I do believe that with the consolidation, the total budget has gone down. The change from part-time to full-time wetlands compliance officer was put into the budget, so that part was approved. Or it was put into the first selectwoman's proposed budget. So we will see ultimately what is approved.
But as a percentage, what are we looking at? Plus or minus?
I don't have those
2%,
numbers.
5%?
Trying to pull it up online.
Because I just don't want to talk about it and review something without knowing some basic percentages.
One sec, I'm just pulling it up right now.
I believe I read it was a 14% decrease in the budget, but I don't have it in front of me.
So that's a 14% decrease. Does that take into consideration the savings on Brian's old position?
I think I'm just trying to remember what I had read when I just had briefly looked at the proposed
One
budget.
second.
No, it's fine. I mean, if you can send that out, that'd be great. It's sort of tough to visualize this, that's all. So you're looking at a 14% decrease, a change from part-time to a full-time, and a singular open position for director, plus consulting fees from SLR.
It's actually a fiscal year change of minus 17.45%.
Okay.
So
you're looking at a 20% decrease.
So the fiscal year 22 departmental request was $771,598. The first selectman's proposed fiscal year 22 budget is $574,867, representing a reduction of 17.45%. And I'm looking for the position.
Does that include that 574,867? Does that include Malone and McBroom's fee? Or sorry, SLR's fee?
You've budgeted for fees and professional services $33,000. Remind you that SLR services are going to be interim because your interviews for a permanent director are ongoing.
Okay, so that was my next question. Is this just a stopgap until we get a new conservation director?
It's a stopgap, yes, and I would expect once the director is on board, there would also be a post facto transitional period, probably of a few weeks, to allow SLR to bring the new director up to speed as to their third-party observations and recommendations, potentially for a new director to then implement.
And if, I don't want to get too deep into this, but if we have exhausted that $33,000 allowance and we still have not hired a conservation director, then what?
Well, the thing is, this budget is not yet adopted. I think that's another significant point. This is recommended. We're now going to go through the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, the RTM. I think you're going to know before this budget goes to the RTM, which is the final stop in the budgetary process and the only body that can adopt a budget. I think you're going to know before the RTM adopts the budget where you are with the hiring of a conservation director. So if HR gives you a report that says, we're going to need some more time, or we repost it, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, I'm just throwing out a potential hypothetical. You'll be in a position to make adjustments to a budget before it is in fact adopted. I don't think that will happen, but that's a very fair question, a good question. And I think the best answer to it is that we would be in a position to make adjustments before the RTM formally adopts in the event that something like that were to happen.
So not to belabor the point, but a 17% increase with
Excuse me, I stand corrected. I apologize. because I just saw the second page and I left my glasses at work. 1 second. So the regular payroll was reduced by 17.45%. So the full-time staffing payroll was reduced by 17.45. Overall reduction, second page, was 14.17. So Sarah was in fact correct. I apologize.
I'm just trying to do the math in my head. How do you increase headcount by a half a person and decrease payroll budget by 17%? It's not possible unless you cut ahead.
By 72%?
No, so you said there's 17% or 14%, but if your headcount is going to increase, you have one open and budgeted position, your headcount is going to increase by half a person to bring this part-time person to full-time. How can you decrease your payroll?
Annette's job was eliminated.
So that's what I'm missing. I didn't know that. Okay. So why didn't somebody just say that from the get-go?
I did.
No.
When?
I said
No,
that.
you didn't.
I said that the two positions were consolidated.
There's been
Consolidated, not
no
eliminated.
formal, no, I did not email anyone and there was no formal email or announcement to you as a commission, no.
Too
So,
bad.
Wow. I mean, somebody could have said something.
well, you could say it's on me, but I think I was trying to say as little as possible. And,
I mean, I just figured it out by doing the math. I mean, that's a hell of a way to come to a conclusion.
Your Social Security contributions are also down 19.25%.
Good for shit.
No kidding. You figured it whatever. Just disingenuous. Sorry.
It is.
Okay, just one more question, Tim, about SLR. So I'm just curious, did they give us a proposal? Is there like a monthly, how is their fee structured? Is it by time and how many approvals they're doing? How is
That's being handled, that fee structure is being handled by Mr. Bremer.
Okay.
So I have not been involved in that component of it.
Okay.
All right, so walk us through this again. Now this information is public knowledge. So Annette's position is gone. We have a part-time to a full-time. We're having open conservation director position. So is that where it's going to stand for the coming year?
Conservation director and full-time wetlands compliance officer. Yes.
Okay, well, we're getting somewhere.
the recruitment contract is going before the Board of Selectmen on Monday.
That's good.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Tim.
Thank you very much.
Okay, new business B2, request for release of performance bond. Staff recommends approval by general consent of the following performance bond releases due to satisfactory completion or partial completion of permit requirements. IWP 2001-09 Buckley subdivision, Mill Hill Terrace and Carriage Drive, new house and driveway with a regulated area. Request of Paul Costines for final release of $14,500 for Lot 8, 100 Meadow Ridge Road.
Everything is all set with this. They actually had a new application in for a pool, so the house was completely done, CO signed, everything looks good.
All right, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second, all right, all those in favor? Okay, and Another bond release, IWP 2018-19-17. Originally Keefe, now Salati, 1407 Reading Road. Construct new house and septic within a regulated area. Request of Walt Stapleton for partial release of 22,000 of a total of 500,000. So we'll release $22,000.
Annette was recommending a 20,000.
20.
It's up to,
I'm
it's
sorry.
totally up to you guys what you want to do.
No, I see the 20. I'm sorry. It wasn't.
There had been, let me just find those notes again. There had been a little bit of deer fencing that was still up around the rain garden, I think to protect the plants. There was a little bit of the pipe needed to be cut back in the rain garden. The final as-built needed a note on it, and then there needed to be a little bit of replanting west of the post and rail fence that had accidentally been mowed. That just needed to be replanted with some shrubs. She had spoken to the homeowner. They were fine with everything. And I think we had signed the CO, everything was fine for that. It was just a few little minor things that needed to be done before we could do a full bond release.
Do we have a motion for the partial release of 20,000?
I'll move for 20.
Second?
Actually, I need to abstain because they're family friends, okay?
Okay.
Who was that
Right.
abstained? I'm sorry.
McCann.
Brian? Okay.
Right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 3, monthly wetland business update for the agency. See attached. Does anybody have any questions on the list of on the back of the agenda? Okay. Roman numeral 6, other. Any other in the wetland business?
Yeah, so I had a question. This rush made me think of the lawsuit with Pine Creek and Montauk Builders and the mean high water line. Whatever happened with that anyway?
It's in court.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think we're still in court on that one, aren't we?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
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 Yes, it was appealed. Yes,
Well, yeah.
ongoing.
But how does that affect brush, or does it? I mean, do we have
How does that
to?
affect
do we
what?
have to
I'm
have a
sorry.
I was just thinking about the application. I mean, we have to have a consistency of decision making.
Right. So that is why Rush had to submit an inland wetland permit, was
Okay.
so that we can remain consistent with any of these tidal versus inland wetlands issues.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it was
So
in
still
Annette's
sort of
recommendation.
No, I saw that, but it just made me think of Montauk Builders, and I just sort of wonder where we go with that. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Still in court.
Just like to take a minute and recognize Sarah for holding down the fort since Friday and continuing to hold
Thank
down
you.
the fort until we get everything back in order over there. Thank you,
Get it
Sarah.
done.
And Joanne. Joanne's been doing a great job too.
And Joanne also, yes.
Joanne has been amazing.
Yeah, you have big shoes to fill.
Thank you, Daphne, for that. That was great. And thank you, Tim, for being here. And if there's no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? In favor? Okay, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night,
Guys,
Sarah.
thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.